welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas. Hello, I'm Billy Cobbin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Pros Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union, Good morning, Huntsville.
You ever do a pregame ritual before we go on, Jason?
We need it.
I pop in your ears. I'm always stuffed up. Do you always have is your nose always kind of stuffy all the time?
Not so much. My son, he struggles with allergies pretty bad, so he's always stuffy. But I think this time of the year, of course, we're getting out of that pollen era, so that's good.
The heat apocalypse did not come to pass yesterday. Boy, I'm telling you. The past few weather things that we've had, they've made it sound like it was going to be, that locusts were going to be flying, and this was going to be it.
Yeah.
And it got hot in Austin, but I mean, we're not in Austin. They were saying it was going to be 101 here originally, and I think it only hit 94 yesterday, which is still warm. I talked to my mother, and she was telling me that they had that area up in Georgetown originally forecast for like 110, which would have been an all-time high, and she said it barely got up to 99.
Yeah. Well,
I'd say barely. That's still hot, though.
Yeah, it's hot. But, our weather has been pretty nice. We've had a pretty mild spring. Hasn't been really hot. Weather's been good. We've had rain on and off, and it's been nice. It's been nice, and now we're going to enjoy the heat.
The 100. You know what the hottest recorded temperature ever was in Texas?
What's that?
120 degrees.
120 degrees.
120. Now, don't ask me where. I was researching this morning, and my brain has already forgot. Now, there's something that's called a heat burst that happens with thunderstorms that are collapsing. And what happens are the thunderstorms run out of energy, and then they run out of rainfall, and it will cause a sudden burst of heat. And sometimes it'll spike anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees at the ground level. There's an unofficial recording in Texas of one of those happening that was the hottest ever recorded on Earth. And apparently that heat burst was 140 degrees in the 60s.
Unbearable.
But if you think about it, unverified, right? 1960s. What was going on in the 60s, Jason? Think about that. So somebody was on the wacky-tacky, and they felt that it was 140 degrees, but it probably was only about 85. So.
Probably right, Rob. Probably right.
And that's how we'll start the show today. Well, hey, welcome in. We're going to have a brief opening segment. We have our friends from CASA here this morning. We're excited to have them on. A lot happening in our community, and we always enjoy having CASA on once a month. We are here, I like this number, 512, because that's my area code growing up.
512. Oh, yeah. That's the Austin area, right?
512, now in the 936.
It's 936 now?
Well, here.
Yeah, 936 here, I was going to say.
I grew up in the 512. When we were growing up, San Antonio was also 512.
Yeah.
That was a huge area.
Yeah.
But they started running out of phone numbers.
I can imagine. Well, they did that here, too. What did it used to be before it was 936? It was something else. But that explains your big 512 tattoo on your back.
Yes, just recently had that removed. Jason was talking to me, and he said, hey, we don't mind a few tats, but that one, brother, that's got to go. And so I got that one off. Picked that one up, years ago, Jason. So it was pretty big. It's on my neck and had it on my earlobe too. A little piece of it there. No, but we do want to welcome you in episode 512 as we get rolling here on a very, very thankful Thursday. Thank you for joining us. Hey, do us a favor this morning if you don't mind too. Hit that like and share button. We're being joined all across social media platforms, including 3 different outlets on Facebook this morning, on YouTube, LinkedIn. Maybe you're joining us this morning on Twitter, or now it's called X, of course, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And also, many of you may be listening this morning on the Spirit Radio FM app. I want to encourage you, if you haven't downloaded that app, please do so, as we are working and getting programming lined up to really get this station up and going here in Huntsville. We will officially be on 94.3 FM once we raise the funds to purchase the tower and our transmitter, but we are broadcasting through the app, and you can download it at spiritradio.fm. I'm really excited about that. Jason, you and I and Alan and others in the community have been talking about putting together some shows, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think it's going to really make a huge impact on this community. Something I've wanted to do for a long time was get a Christian radio station and local, just focused on local programming here in Huntsville. It's something that's definitely needed. And I would just encourage, we've been raising money to make this a nonprofit organization, and anybody that wants to give to this can give. You just go to our website at fbchuntsville.org, and there's a drop-down menu for radio ministry. And it's not going to be focused. It's totally separate from the church. Spirit FM Radio is totally separate. It's going to highlight what's going on at many different churches in our area, but more than that, what's going on in our community. So this is Rob's brainchild, and I'm just really excited about it. I really feel like it's going to be a great ministry tool for our community. So I want to encourage anybody out there, any businesses, organizations, whatever, give your tax deductible donation to this radio ministry and help us get it off the ground. We're going to get it off the ground before the end of the year, but you can be a part of that, and I just want to encourage you to do that. Go online, fbchuntsville.org. You'll see the drop-down menu for give, and there's radio ministry. It's totally separate from the church. We would encourage you to give to that so we can speed the process along.
Yeah, absolutely. It runs under Spirit Media Incorporated. It's a 501c3, a registered nonprofit, and a very diverse board, too. Now, we do have one person from here at First that's on the board, but I also have a gentleman from Christ the King Methodist that's on the board. A local businessman is on the board as well. So it's an extremely, and he goes over to the Family Faith. Mm-hmm. And so there's a very diverse board because we wanted to do that intentionally to make sure that the whole community is able to be a part of this. And so maybe we'll have a thing where you can sponsor the tower, and it'll be called the Tower of Power sponsorship. Remember remember the old Crystal Cathedral and the Hour of Power back in the day?
Yes, I do remember that. I included that as part of my dissertation when I was writing about the change of the culture, because that church at one time was on TV and had a huge ministry, and then when the funds dried up, boy, they went under quick.
That was, I believe, like the very first really well-known, what you would call a mega church there.
Robert Schuller.
Yep, the white hair, the golden white-haired man. I remember him. He was
all
on TV
glass.
all the time.
Yeah.
So, and I wonder too, real quick before we take a quick break. There was a story in Dallas one time where this car was parked in front of a tall building, and this car's dashboard started burning. And it was because the way that they had the glass in that building, it created like when you're a kid, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there were certain pews in there that they had to move from all that glass.
140 degrees.
It's like, That's the hot seat. Boy, you've been in real big trouble with that. Get out of that seat.
Right. I can only imagine.
Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break. We want our friends from CASA to hop on, and we're excited to have them. And then Jason and I will come back. We've got a lot to cover today, news you can use, events that have happened in our community over the last week, and things that are upcoming. There's so much going on in Huntsville, and we want you to be a part of the discussion today. Again, do us a favor, like and share the broadcast, and most importantly, let us know what you're thankful for this morning. We'll go over some of those comments a little bit later on in the show. Just simply type in there. Maybe you've never typed in a comment before. Hey, man, today's the day.
That's right.
You can let us know you're out there. We'll take a brief break. As always, our Thankful Thursday is brought to you by right here at First Baptist. More information online at fbchuntsville.org. It's a harbor of hope here in our community. Again, we'll take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. More to come. This is your show on a Thankful Thursday. It is Good Morning Huntsville.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
Hey, I'm Janace Holt, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union. One of the best things I hear from our members is how they love being treated like they're important, like their family. Sure, our members love things like low rates on loans too, but combine that with the friendliest and most helpful service in town, and you've got Walker County Federal, taking care of our members. It's what we do. We are Walker County Federal Credit Union, member NCUA.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori schools believe in creating spaces where children can learn, grow, and use their imaginations. At any Tomorrow's Promise location, children enjoy the largest playgrounds in town. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori is a fun school where every child learns at their own pace, and mastery of a concept is expected before moving on to the next concept. At Tomorrow's Promise, every child is respected, loved, and nurtured for the unique individual that they are.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tomorrowspromise.info for more information. Education you can trust.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union, and our business is helping you take care of your business. In addition to personal accounts, Walker County Federal Credit Union also offers business accounts and business lending for commercial customers. We're devoted to taking care of the needs of our individual members and helping our business members with their financial success too. Call us today and find out how easy it is to work with Walker County Federal Credit Union, member NCUA.
Hey friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
This is Jason Bay, the pastor at First Baptist Church, Huntsville, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the spirit of Huntsville.
Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit
94.3. All right, friends, welcome back as we continue on. Boy, how about 75 degrees this morning and a nice Huntsville humidity of 90%. Today, well, it's going to get up to 95, 78 tonight, 95 tomorrow, 75 Friday. Why don't we just keep that going? 95, 75 all the way through Sunday, and then we'll get a little cold streak as it'll be 93 on Monday. But hey, no rain in the forecast. It'll be cloudy to sunny, but no rain. And so don't worry about any umbrellas this weekend. Just drink plenty of water. I don't like to use that cliche, stay hydrated, because everybody uses that. I'll just say, just drink plenty of water. Maybe throw in a few Dr. Peppers there as well. Should be fine. Well, welcome back, friends, as we get rolling here on our next segment. Always a privilege to have our friends from CASA here. Welcome in. Katherine James here today. Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Darcus Miller is here as well. We'll be talking to her in just a few moments, and also Miss Brenda Burns. So we're so excited to have y'all. Y'all have just brought the joy. And then y'all have a chauffeur in here today. He said that y'all were paying him $500 an hour. And so he had actually called me this morning, unbeknownst to y'all, and he said, hey, Rob, man, can you just kind of linger this thing on a little bit? Because I'm getting big bucks today. And so that's why we were about 10 minutes late, because if you take $500, break it into per minute, that's quite a bit of extra money there for him. So thank you for that, sir. We're going to split the pot 50-50 after the show. So, well, Katherine, good to see you today. Always great to have you. You were on staff at CASA. Give us some updates real quick, and then we've got some advocates, and also Darcus is on the board. We'll talk about that in just a few moments. But how have you been? It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Always a joy to join you on the show. I am the advocate supervisor, so I supervise our volunteers in the cases that they're assigned to. And I have two advocates with me today. Brenda is our Advocate of the Year.
Congratulations, Miss Brenda.
So every year we have an extremely difficult decision to make when we select Advocate of the Year. And it is someone who has been an advocate more than a year. So Brenda is just amazing, and she was our 2025 Advocate of the Year. Darcus, our new Advocate of the Year, is given to someone who has been an advocate for less than a year.
Gotcha.
So she has done an amazing job in her first case, and she's also on our board. So when we select our nominees, one thing we look at is just beyond casework, the other things that they do for CASA, just going above and beyond. So it's always very difficult, because we always say we have the best advocates, and that's absolutely true.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Well, I wanted to bring Darcus into the conversation real quick. Darcus, let us know a little bit about just your journey. I've enjoyed seeing you. You know, I saw you a couple of months ago at the Food Truck Friday, but you have been so active with CASA. Maybe just give us some updates from the advocate side about what you've been doing, what you've learned, and maybe a word to somebody out there this morning that says, you know, I've heard about CASA before. Maybe I've wanted to be an advocate. Maybe explain a little bit about CASA and then why you got involved also.
Okay. Well, I am actually celebrating my 1 year this month of being an advocate. So that's exciting.
And congratulations on New Advocate of the Year, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you. When I'm fairly new to Huntsville, and I've only been here for a little over 2 years. And honestly, when I first got here, CASA was the one thing that stood out to me that said, this is our community, we represent our community, and we want you to be a part of it. And so it touched my heart really fast. And so that was something that I said, I might do that. But God just kept pulling on my heart and saying, no, go do that. And I moved from the Woodlands, where it's very, hustle and bustle kind of thing. And so being here in a slower town really helped me to kind of focus my efforts on doing something that's good for the community and not just writing a check, like actually getting out there and physically doing something. And so CASA has allowed me to do that. And so I am very appreciative of the organization, but also when I became an advocate, I didn't realize how much this was going to be on my heart. Like, I did not know how much I was going to cherish this opportunity. The kids that I have now are teenagers. One's a preteen and one's a teenager. And so they are 100% into, life's dramas and emotions and hormones and things. And so being able to be that one steady person in their life that can help them navigate through that and know that it's okay. And when they get in trouble, like, yeah, that's life, and it doesn't mean that you're a horrible person. And just being able to be there for them and helping them to understand that they are loved and that they can make mistakes and that they don't have to be judged for the rest of their life or be, punished for the rest of their life because of some mistake that they may have made. It's just rewarding. It's very rewarding to be able to be that person and to hear I love you.
Yeah.
My advocate, my CASA kids, we actually tell each other we love each other, and I love that. I was nervous about saying that to them the first time, but when I did, I could see my girl. I have a boy and a girl. I could see the girl's face just light up, like, what? You love me?
Yeah.
And that to me, I'm gonna get teary-eyed here, but that to me was like one of the moments where I was like, whoa, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So. And then the boy in my case is, he has some autism spectrum things going on. And so helping him to navigate through education and making sure he has the services that he needs. And, I have to speak more for him, I believe, than the girl. The girl's very vocal. But the boy in the case is not as vocal in what he needs or understands what he needs. So it's very important for me to be that voice for him. And I take that very seriously. And sometimes it's hard. I'm not going to lie. There have been times that I have been crying in Katherine's office, but there have been so many happy moments. And like I said, seeing their faces whenever something positive happens and they're happy in life or helping them through certain things is just so much more rewarding than the times that make you sad a little bit. Obviously it's sad, their situation in general, but being able to help to make that a better situation in their lives is such a blessing.
Yeah,
so.
Darcus, that's so incredible, and I'm so thankful that you're sharing your story, because I believe it's going to inspire somebody else this morning to say, I want to get involved. You can find out more information about CASA's court-appointed special advocates online at casaofwalkercounty.org is the website address. I wanted to bring Brenda Burns into the conversation. She has been involved with CASA for some time. And Brenda, let us know just a little bit about your involvement, how you got plugged in, and you've been a part of this for a while now. Just give us a little bit of kind of your run with CASA. And to you, congratulations on being the Advocate of the Year.
Thank you so much. When I first discovered what CASA was actually in Liberty County, and it was through a very tragic event that happened, it's been years ago. One of my friends who I grew up with actually had a house full of special needs children, and to make a long story short, one of them was tragically murdered by her. And I would go to the courthouse and I would see these T-shirts and these different clothing articles hung up on the clothesline, and I thought, what is that all about? And it was CASA. And so after that, I knew that somebody had to stand in the gap for these children. There was such a great need. And I was telling someone the other day, I thought about taking a break, just resting for a little while between cases.
And how many years have you been involved now?
I've been involved 3 years, and I've had 4 different cases and served 9 children.
Wow.
And the last 2 cases have been kind of hard, especially this last one. I'm serving 5 children, and they were in 3 different homes, and we traveled across Texas to get to them. My husband and I, we stayed on the road quite a bit. Thank God they recently have been moved into 2 different homes, but all the siblings are still not together. And so that makes it hard. We've had the privilege of walking alongside this family, and we are seeing some good things begin to happen, and that's the joy. When you see a family reunified, that makes it all worthwhile. But sometimes the sad thing is that doesn't happen. And so, like Darcus was saying, just being there as a friend, someone who follows along no matter what, the CASA advocate is going to be there, whether their caseworker is still the same one that was in the beginning or it's changed 10 times, the CASA advocate is still going to be there. And so we really get to love these children. And I wanted to share something that really has made a difference in the way I look at this. These kids are so traumatized, and they've been through things that are just unspeakable sometimes. We have the privilege and the honor to be beside them from the beginning until the end. And this one particular family that I'm part of now, they don't live very far from me. And so we're already making plans. After this case is closed, we will stay a part of their lives. They don't have grandparents that they can turn to. We can be that advocate all along the way, and the family is welcoming us. And so that's just part of the perks of being a CASA. You build these relationships that last. As long as they want you there, we're willing to be part of their family. And like Darcus said, the first time I told one of the little ones, I love you, they looked at me so funny, but, they're fantastic kids going through the hardest time of their lives. And I just count it as a privilege and an honor that God even allows us to do that.
Well, amen, Brenda. I think it's just incredible, to serve and to be a part, but then to be so involved and to say, you know what, I'm going to step in and I'm going to be that voice that this child needs.
Absolutely.
So, boy, that's just, and I get teared up every time y'all start sharing stories. Lois had shared a story a year ago. I guess it was at the annual July bingo, and she had shared a story. And I think everybody in that entire building was teared up then. But friends, this is what it's about. Children are the most vulnerable, the most innocent, and they need somebody to step in and be that voice. And that's why CASA is so active in the community, because the reality is, as much as I love y'all, I wish that y'all didn't have to exist. I really don't. I wish that this organization didn't have to exist. But you know what? Unfortunately, it does. And it takes people with a generous heart to step up and say, I'm going to be that voice. Katherine, you've been involved for a while now, and there's so many good things that are happening at CASA. These children's lives are being changed. Maybe highlight just kind of what you've seen just in your time here now with CASA and what's really inspired you to help bring on more advocates like Darcus and Brenda.
Well, if you've seen me on Hello Huntsville before, you've heard me say that I actually began as a volunteer advocate myself. And a similar story to Darcus and Brenda in how I came to be involved with CASA. And then being able to come on staff, I've just seen so many stories like theirs, where we can reunify a family safely and they just go on to live healthy, happy lives. And sometimes we can't reunify, and that's just the reality of it. But what we do is we help find that child a safe, permanent home, either with another family member or in an unrelated adoptive home. But I could just tell story after story like theirs that if you think about, we multiply their stories times 30 or 40 or however many advocates we have, that's making a big impact across our state.
We want to encourage anyone this morning, if the story that Brenda shared or Darcus has shared has tugged at your heart, if you're interested, maybe you're saying, I've thought about being an advocate, but I'm so nervous. I don't know anything about the legal system. I don't know anything about how to be a voice, but I do love children and I want to help. Just come to one of the meetings. I know that you guys always have a kind of an introductory meeting to explain the process, to go through that process. Darcus, y'all have both experienced it. And Darcus, I'll go back to you because I know you want to plug something that's going on with the board as well. But that process, you going into it, maybe describe that for someone to kind of maybe ease their fears a little bit. They want to help, but they're nervous about helping because they don't know how things work. Maybe explain that and how you overcame that.
Oh, yes, definitely. It was a little scary going in because you feel like you're about to take on a big responsibility that you're not sure you're ready for. But I have to say that our trainer that helped me through the program, Miss Janet, if you're listening, she was amazing. And I know that we have new trainers that are also amazing. But going in and just learning and understanding the passion behind the program was very helpful. And also, we had fun. We learned about the program and we learned, the important details, but we also had fun. In fact, my group of girls that I trained with, we are still really good friends, and whenever there's a CASA event, you can see our group together. Like, that's my pack right there, So we had fun together, and we love that we can share that experience together. So it actually was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. So
and you didn't have to be a lawyer either.
I didn't have to be a lawyer. And the good thing is that if you don't understand something or, after you become an advocate, that's what Katherine is for. She helps us through the things that maybe we don't understand, the legalities of certain things, that she is there and she can help us to understand it. And if she doesn't understand it, she has resources that can help her understand it to help us understand it. So it's not a big, step into understanding the legal aspect of it, which was what made me really nervous. Was going to court was what made me nervous. But Katherine's always there helping us through that. So I don't feel that nervousness anymore.
That's great. Well, I know you also serve on the board at CASA, so you have been very involved, just like so many folks that get connected. Let us know some things that I know you wanted to talk about in that area.
Yeah, so at CASA, being an advocate isn't the only thing that you can do. You can actually be on the board and help in other ways. We have all kinds of events that people can volunteer at. And so that's kind of what the board does, is organizes, things that that can happen, that are happening, and finances and things like that, fundraising. And, there is the committee that I am on. I'm on the board, but I'm also on a committee, but I'm on the fundraising committee. And what we're focusing on right now is just trying to kind of stabilize our income, our funds that come in, because right now we depend a lot on the actual events that happen, which we have some events coming up. But it's, when you talk about the funds coming in, it's the pattern is very volatile. So we have a bunch of stuff happening, summer and spring and things, but then during the winter, there is less funds coming in. And so our goal is to kind of stabilize that to help with things that might come up in those months that our funds are a little bit lower. So our new program is called 25 and 25. And so we're basically looking for donors to just donate $25 a month, just like any other subscription. Cancel your other subscriptions and give it to CASA, You see all those commercials on TV.
Yeah.
But
call J.G. Wentworth. It's my money and I need it now. You need
exactly.
it now for CASA. Yeah.
Exactly. But if you think about it, $25 $20 is maybe three cups of Starbucks coffee, or 2 subscriptions that you're already subscribing to that you don't even use. And so taking that money and shifting it over to something that it really, really is going to help a child, to me, that seems like a no-brainer. Like, let's do this, So, if you can't volunteer and you can't get there and you can't become an advocate, you don't have the time to do that, even if you can and you still want to contribute, $25 a month is not that much, in this day and time, but it is so much to our organization. So please consider that. And you can find information on that on our website. It's called 25 and 25. And we hope to see you there.
Yeah, great. Well, Katherine, a few other things going on. We're talking about events, and Food Truck Fridays are always going great. Frank's Tacos comes out, and usually, unless there's something else going on, but most of the time meets over at McWilliams and Sons. I know that's been going great. But hey, June the 7th, the Mudbugs and Mulligans coming up, the Golf Classic. That's going to be a fun event.
It sure is. So, and there's a raffle for an amazing golf cart.
I've seen that.
Yes. Yeah. So if you are interested in trying to win a beautiful golf cart, it's sitting in our office, actually.
You don't have to come to the event, though, right?
You do not have to come to the event. You can purchase raffle tickets. You can call our office. You can stop in. If you see the sign somewhere, I think there's a QR code on the signs around town that you can purchase raffle tickets for that. But you can always get us by calling us or coming into the office as well.
Yeah, I'm showing a screenshot here, and this drawing will be held on June the 7th at the event. But, hey, I don't think you have to be present to win either, so you can get those tickets online. Super easy. Just go to casaofwalkercounty.org and under events, and if you go to the Mudbugs event, you'll be able to find a link right there. But these tickets, everything is right there online. Super easy. It's only $25 too per ticket. Or you can get 5 for $100, which is great. So you save a little bit of money.
Right.
So go online, support CASA. This is an awesome golf cart, by the way, and all the details of that thing are on here. And then other events. I know tonight we're having the reveal for the young person who there's some jewelry that I heard that's going to be designed, and there's been a winner selected for that.
That is always so exciting.
So appreciate Elliot's Jewelers on that. And so we'll post an article a little bit later on after tonight, but we're excited about that reveal that's coming. That's the second annual Sketches to Sparkles jewelry design contest. So that just took place. And then I'm just on the website. Y'all have so much going on. In fact, I got to go back because I was getting deep here. I was like, man, there's some really cool stuff. Pre-service volunteer advocate training begins on June the 14th. That's on a Saturday. And then we don't want to forget about Christmas in July. That's going to happen on July the 18th, the annual bingo fun going on there. We went last year, my wife and I. We had a blast.
It's always so fun. And, I mean, you've been there years before, as our MC. And so...
Yep. I've had to relinquish MC duties quite a bit, unfortunately. But one day, when the children grow up a little bit more, I'll be able to commit again. So,
well, we appreciate you just attending. It is a very fun event.
One other thing I noticed you had in your lap here. What is it? This looks official, Brenda.
It's very official. So, Janice, let me get her name right. Can you read it? I don't have my glasses.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess it up.
Janace Holt.
Janace Holt from House of Representatives heard that Brenda is our Advocate of the Year, and she said, oh, is she from San Jacinto County? And we said, actually, yes. And so she had, just yesterday, this came in, that she wanted.
So Brenda didn't even know about this.
No, she did not.
Okay. Well, Brenda, check this out. Here we go. The House of Representatives provides a certificate of recognition, proudly presented to Brenda Burns in recognition of being named the 2025 CASA Advocate of the Year in San Jacinto County. And for friends joining us, it's Walker, San Jacinto, and Trinity counties.
That's right. We don't want to forget that our program covers 3 counties, and Brenda is a resident of San Jacinto County.
Well, this right here says your unwavering dedication, compassion, and commitment to serving children in need have made a significant impact on the lives of many. Congratulations, Brenda, on this well-deserved honor. And again, that is from Janace Holt, the Texas State Representative there in your county. So congratulations to that. So see, I did get to MC something. There
Thank
you go.
you.
Yeah. So, congratulations, Brenda. That is so wonderful. Well, again, so much going on. Please go to CASA of Walker County. .org for more information. The staff, the volunteers, they all do such a tremendous job. And, you know, I think of it and I look at it from a biblical perspective. Jesus loves everyone, and he especially loves the children. We have a duty and an obligation to protect our children. And so if anything on this program this morning, from Brenda's story, from Darcus' story, anything that Katherine has said has tugged at your heart, I believe that's the Holy Spirit talking to you this morning. Answer that call. Just go to one of the early pre-training to get more information, to see if it's right for you. And I guarantee after that pre-training, you're going to know, yes, this is something that I need to do, or you're going to say, you know, maybe not right now, but maybe I can help in other ways. So, Katherine, anything else before we go? Thank y'all for being here.
No, I think we covered it. Thank you so much for having us. We always love
bet.
being here.
Absolutely. And we want the focus. I know we talked about a lot of events, but the focus today is on advocates. And so, again, more information online. Go to casaofwalkercounty.org/volunteer to get more information. So, Brenda, nice to meet you. What was your? Can you hand that back to Brenda real quick? I just got to ask her. So, where are you at in San Jacinto County?
I live in the community of Evergreen.
Okay.
Out in the boonies. We love it.
With all the rain lately, it's been evergreen around, right?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful
yes,
down there.
and all the magnolias are in bloom. It's gorgeous out there.
So did you drove in from Evergreen this morning?
We did.
How far? How long?
It's about 45 minutes.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's a beautiful drive.
Well, y'all can stop on the way out. Honor Cafe just opened up here in Huntsville, so you can go by and get a good breakfast.
Oh, yes.
That's a veteran-owned
That's a good
breakfast,
idea.
veteran-owned cafe, and hang out in Huntsville for a little bit.
Absolutely.
So.
Thank
All
you
right,
so much for
bet.
having
well,
us.
God bless you, Brenda. Thank you very much, ma'am. Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break. Jason rejoins us here on the program. As always, we couldn't have friends like our friends from CASA on this program without the generous support of our foundation sponsors, and that includes First Baptist Church on a Thursday. More information about FBC is online at fbchuntsville.org. We'll take a brief break. Jason rejoins us. Stay with us. More to come on your show. This is Good Morning Huntsville here on a Thankful Thursday.
Illuminate your child's future at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools in Huntsville. Established in 1997 by Kay Boning, our award-winning center merges Christian values with 25 years of Montessori excellence, promoting wonder and discovery in every child. As the only Montessori school within 45 miles, we provide a fun and friendly environment, individualized Montessori methods, and love and care as if each child were our own. Safety is a priority, and with a recent $50,000 investment, our facilities inspire growth, creativity, and learning. Plus, as a nonprofit, we open Montessori doors to families of all economic backgrounds. Partner with the community pillar where every child's promise shines bright. Discover Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools today. Visit tpms.life. That's tpms.life. Wow! I got this great idea for a party! Not that kind of party! So I'm at this park with this huge stage. There was this guy playing music. I think he's playing Billy Gaither. Maybe it's Jimmy Clifton? No, definitely Brandon Lake. So the youth pastor walks up to me and asks, "Is this your first time with us, Mr. Hip?" "Yeah." This lady comes over and tells me about the activities. Blah, blah, bouncy house, blah, 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 grilling and refreshments. Sounds super fun. Our music leader goes on about how proud we are to have this event and have us all together. You know the food was good. I just realized there's one thing missing. You! So, that's my idea. Will you show up?
Hello, First Baptist Huntsville. This is Jeremy Stallnecker with the Mighty Oaks Foundation, and I'm sitting in my home studio today recording some different things for our organization. But I wanted to stop quickly and say hello and tell you how excited I am to be with you on May 25th. That is Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, and we're going to have a wonderful time together. I feel very honored to be able to spend this time with you. As you know, this is an important weekend, a very important holiday, as we remember the sacrifices of the men and women who've gone before us, those who gave their lives, paid the ultimate sacrifice that we could enjoy the freedoms that we do. Very, very important time, and I am excited to be able to spend that time with you. We're going to talk about Memorial Day, what it means, why it's important, and how we can live our lives in light of the sacrifices made by others. Again, very excited to be with you this Memorial Day weekend, Sunday, May 25th.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the Spirit of Huntsville.
Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit 94.3.
This is why people tune out when I start doing it.
No, I love it.
All right, hold on. I made a mistake here.
All right.
Hey, by the way, I wanted to mention, real quick, Brenda, who was just with us, Brenda Burns, one of the advocates with CASA, just mentioned, we forgot to talk about this, and I didn't know about it until after the show. She had mentioned it. You know, sometimes folks may be a little nervous, especially women. Even me as a guy, I get nervous sometimes going into a place. And especially for a woman, you're going into some of these places that are very difficult. You never know what you're going to walk in on.
Right.
And so you can also, as a spouse, you can go to training to be a companion, to be able to go with your spouse into the homes. And her husband is a companion. In fact, many of the advocates, their spouses, their husbands, or their wives, if it's a male advocate, those are their companions to go with them. Because they deal with so much confidential things that if their spouse has not been trained, that person, they can't dilute information to each other because it's confidential.
Right.
And so once you become a companion, then you're allowed to go with them, and you can get involved a little bit more. So I did want to mention that
as a team. Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that. And another thing before we get to the news you can use, I loved your commercials that you placed on there today. I hope people got a chance to see that on this Wednesday. No, next Wednesday. We just passed Wednesday. You know all about that because Wednesday nights wear you out. But next Wednesday, we're having Party at the Park. I hope you've seen your little cute commercial that Rob designed.
Well, no. Full credit goes to Joshua Mashi and Alyssa. They came up with the script and the video. So
it was awesome. Anyway, next Wednesday, we're going to have what we're calling the Party at the Park, which is right down from our church, Rather Park. Anybody that's drove around the downtown area sees the new stage. Who put that up, by the way?
The HLI Class 41, I believe.
HLI Class 41. It's made for outdoor concerts and other things. They've had a lot of different groups come in there. Well, next Wednesday we're renting out that park, and we're going to have outdoor music. We're going to have bounce houses for the kids. We're going to have all different kind of food. Our men are coming out with with different grills, and we're going to be grilling up all kind of
the Traeger, brother.
Yeah, all kind of meats and stuff. And just hot dogs, hamburgers, and we're going to have some preaching, and it's good, and lots of things for the kids. It's just going to be a good time to be outdoors. Hopefully, God will give us a good weather that day. We're also going to have we're doing our blood drive that Ruth Webb has so graciously put together. We're doing that evening. So there's a lot going on, and it's open to everybody in the community. So just come out. If you want to see what our church is about, what it's like, it's a great time. You don't have to go in the door. Just drive up. And you don't even have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Just roll down the window. We're going to have a great time in this whole area down here. So come and be a part of that. That'll be 6 to 7:30 next Wednesday night. So if you're downtown and want to just stop by, we invite you to do so and just hang out with us. Wear relaxed clothes and just be prepared for a good time. And then on Memorial Day weekend, I know we've been advertising this. Jeremy Stallnecker, who is a Marine from California, he runs he's the CEO of Mighty Oaks Foundation, which helps soldiers coming back from their deployment that are dealing with PTSD, and he's helped an enormous amount of people find the hope that Christ provides to us to keep on living. Because as we know, so many soldiers commit suicide when they come back because they're dealing with such stress of just the things that they've been experienced to, but also making it in society and finding that adjustment of coming back from being a part of the military. And we want you to come. It'll be Sunday morning of Memorial Day weekend, which I believe is the 25th. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And that Sunday morning, he's going to come. We're expecting the congregation to be packed. He's a dynamic speaker, a great man of God, and I know you don't want to miss it. So we're just encouraging everybody in the area, especially our veterans. If you've never been to church before, this is a perfect opportunity to come and be a part of what God is doing. I know I've heard him speak before. They're making a documentary about his life, and I mean this guy is really gifted, and we want to just encourage everybody to come and be a part of that. We're not taking up any offering. We're not asking for any money. We're just asking you to come and listen to him. And I know that you'll leave inspired and encouraged about not only what our military does in defense of our great nation and those that have given their lives in service, but also the hope that Jesus Christ brings. You know, the Bible says, greater love has no man than this, than to lay down his life for his friends. Memorial Day, we remember that not only have men and women given their lives so that we can enjoy the freedoms we enjoy here, but most importantly, Jesus Christ laid down his life for us so that we can have hope, not just in this life, but in eternity.
Yeah.
So be a part of those two events. Next Wednesday night, Party at the Park. Not this Sunday, but we want you to come this Sunday too. But next Sunday, the 25th, we're going to have Jeremy Stallnecker all the way from California. We're bringing him in. He's going to be a great. It's going to be a great time to be in the house of the Lord that Sunday. So mark it on your calendar. You can be away from your church for one Sunday. Come and hear him. I know you'll be blessed for it.
And I'll come visit your church the following Sunday.
That's right.
If, Jason, I'll sneak out of the back. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, and then also you mentioned all this Sunday for all of our seniors in college too. It's graduation Sunday, so a lot of scholarships are going out to students. That's going to be the first stitchers. They put together these beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, Jason, I didn't realize how much is going on here at first. It's unbelievable.
I just want to say, when I first came here 10 years ago, I was shocked at the amount of commitment this church, First Baptist, has had throughout the years in their relationship to Sam Houston State University. Because so many of the people that have come to this church and come through the doors of this church have been associated with the university professors, people in the administration at Sam Houston State, alumni, of course, all that our church has always been committed to furthering education of all people, giving people the opportunity to go to school, helping them through. And this Sunday we're giving away $14,000 in scholarships to our students that go here, and also students, grandparents, kids, and just people in the community. So I'm proud of that this church has a long history of that. I currently have starting next fall, we'll have 3 full-time students in college. My 2 older sons and my daughter, full-time college students. So those scholarships go a long way to help them and help me be able to afford college education.
Yeah, it's not cheap. Well, one last thing before we get that official, what you look forward to every single week, the intro. Boy, I was cruising through the big city of Richards this weekend, and we had went on a memorial ride for Clay Talsworth, Tara Burnett, Roger, and all the great folks at the Hearts Veterans Museum. Also our friends at Sam Houston Post 95 of the American Legion. They put all this together. And basically, we just went, and it was all very family-friendly areas. The motorcycle club, they showed up, and so they all rode, and then Billy was there, and some cars came. He was in a Jeep. I was just in my truck. But we all just kind of went at our own leisure. We were suggested to leave around 10 a.m., which we did, and we drove out to Conroe. We ate over at the cafe there, the Honor Cafe in Conroe.
Yeah. I'm going to lunch there today, the one here in Huntsville.
Yeah, we ate there, and then we went over to Lighthouse, which is there on the lake, Lake Conroe. And then from there, we went over in Richards. There's a little biker bar area over there, and it turns out it's actually very family friendly. So because I asked before, and drifters, yeah. So went over there, and so we went into these places, and it was just little places you stop, and they had something for everyone. And so when we went over to the drifters, it was really, the lady there was so nice, and I had Kaden with me, and she gave him a popsicle. And so the point of going to these places where you were wearing a wristband, and they would stamp it with different things, and then you had an opportunity for a raffle at the end of the event. And then when you got back to Huntsville to the American Legion, they put together food plates. Kyle Kreiner and Stacy Lawler were there. Boy, they cooked up so much food. Kyle was cooking brisket. I don't know if Stacy cooked. He's the brisket syndicate here in Huntsville, but Kyle Kreiner's the brisketeer of Huntsville. Boy, we had a whole spread, the sausage, the brisket, hot dogs, everything. I was eating on that food for 3 days, so thank you, Kyle, for that. But the reason I brought this up is because we went to that drifter's place, and then we came down the road, and I purposely drove through Richards because I saw it on the map, and I said, boy, it's right there.
Yeah.
It wanted me to go around it. I said, no, sir.
Yeah, right.
So that's where my pastor lives. That's his people. And so when I cruised in there, it was really neat because all of a sudden this huge city, that's kind of hidden out, big, huge city.
Absolutely.
There's a sign right there when you pull in off the road, and you know how they recognize people. There's a huge sign right there. And it said, proud home of Pastor Jason Bay, First Baptist Huntsville. It's right there.
Not even.
And then under it said goat under there. It was pretty neat.
The goat. Meaning not the sheep.
And then it was just kidding. But here's what happened. I drove through, and I verified this with your daughter, Abigail. I had to get verification on this, Jason, okay? So I drove through, and I saw something that said Richards Grocery.
Yep.
And I said, that's my kind of, I kind of felt that old-timey flair in me. And I said, boy, that's my kind of grocery store.
Yeah.
I told Bridget in that voice, I said, that's my kind of grocery store. And it's one of those, it was it's like 4 in the afternoon, they're closed already. Now, There was a sign on there.
By the way, grocery store is a little bit expanded definition. You're taking a little bit of liberty with that word.
Well, I saw that, but then right under it, it said hamburgers.
Yeah.
And I started thinking back in the day, we had a place called the Weir Country Store outside of Georgetown, very similar, and they were known to have some of the best burgers in the area. So I messaged Jason right away. I thought of him immediately. I said, Pastor Jason, does this hamburger at this grocery store, is it good? And you said, yes, it absolutely is.
Yes.
Now, that was one man's opinion. So I had to verify with your daughter. I saw her on Sunday. I said, Abigail, can you vouch for the burgers at the Richards Grocery? She said, yes, they're good. So I have 2 votes. I'm going to go over there for lunch one day and try a Richards Grocery Store burger.
Do it. You may want to call in advance. That's what I always do.
See if they're open.
Well, see if they're open, number one. Number two, to go ahead and place your order, because otherwise you'll be sitting in there maybe for a little while. But, yeah, good town, Richards, Texas. Funny story, my family, we moved from Tennessee. In 1850, my ancestors moved from Tennessee, and they moved to Bays Chapel, Texas, which is the place that ended up being known as, which is on Bays Chapel Road, which is a little bit outside of Richards. And they established a little community there. They had their own church, which is Bays Chapel, and it was a multi-denominational church that they established. And it eventually became Methodist, and now it's back to non-denominational. But that community in Richards at the time were seen as 2 separate communities. You had this, because you think about it, now 5-10 miles is nothing. You get in your car and boom, you're there. But back then, when you walked or rode horses or pulled a wagon to different places, then it was a ways.
I heard a stat that like some people in their lifetime didn't travel more than 10 miles or something back then.
I know.
Weird to think
about?
It
is great. Even like my grandfather, I remember where Richards is about it's about almost halfway between Huntsville and College Station. It's a little bit closer to Huntsville than it is College Station, but I remember when we had to go to College Station to get a part or something, my grandpa, it was like going to Houston for him. That was a long way. But I say all that to say that when we think of, they always thought of themselves as being from Bays Chapel. My grandpa and all of them, when they grew up, they were from Bays Chapel. And then Richards was a totally separate town. So while I claim my Richards residence, in reality, it is Bays Chapel where we live currently. But it's a great town. And another thing I want to tell you, where Drifters is on 149. That the reason they use that often as a motorcycle route. On the weekends, especially like right now, man, it'll be packed with 149 because it's curvy and it's hilly. It goes up and down. Is notorious for motorcycle riders coming through there, and that's why they put that
beautiful. That's why we rode through there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and then they go from there. They usually go from there out towards Anderson. And they cut across Anderson, through Anderson back to the right. Take a right there, and then they go to what's that little town?
Shiro?
No, not Shiro. It's I can't even remember it now. Carlos. There's another. Another biker bar type thing in Carlos. So they usually go there, and then they make their way down to Carlos, and then they come back down 149 and head back to Houston because most of these people are from Houston. But I will say, since that bar has been here, I've experienced at least 2 times life flight landing right there in front of that.
Because the turns, right?
Yeah, because a lot of motorcycle riders that are coming out of Houston riding weekends are inexperienced riders, and then they go and have a drink or two. And, man, I've seen it happen a couple of times, at least a couple of times, where they've had to block off that road there on 149 and land that helicopter right in the middle of the road to pick up some of these people. So just a word of advice, man, be careful when you're riding. It's fun. I used to have a motorcycle. It's fun to ride.
Did you really?
Yep. It's fun to ride out there. But man, that road 149 is so dangerous. There's no shoulders on the road. It's so curvy and windy. There's a lot of places where people are coming on and off the road. It's very dangerous.
You ever seen that movie Wild Hogs?
Mm-hmm, I've seen that.
That's what I think of you as one of the Wild Hogs.
Definitely, no question. We need to get us a Christian motorcycle gang together here in Huntsville.
We had I grew up at a church. There was a church at the end of our street. And it was called the Calvary. It wasn't part of the Calvary Baptist Church organization, but there's a lot of Calvary Baptist churches, right? This was a Calvary Baptist church there in Georgetown. It's at the end of our street. And I remember going to that, and there was always a guy in the back of that church. And I'd never experienced it before because I'd grown up in the Church of Christ a lot with my family early on. And so I wasn't used to music and instruments and things. Which the acapella was always beautiful. Mm-hmm. So it kind of startled me because there was this guy in the back, and he was a biker that would always come. And praise God, he was there. His name was Art. I'll never forget the guy. And he always had on his bike vest, and he'd always cruising on that bike. But man, we'd start singing as tiny little church. I mean, tiny little church. And so everything was loud in there. Even if you were even if it was you and me talking, this would be considered loud. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget. There was also a lady over there that played the organ, Kathy Duke, and Kathy I would later connect with at Main Street Baptist Church, which was the former First Baptist Church in Georgetown. So it's neat how God puts these people in your life, and then eventually you circle back to them. Well, Art, unfortunately, I've never circled back to him, but he used to sit in the very back of that. And the preacher would start preaching, and Art would get up, and he would shout, "Hallelujah!" just like that. And I'll never forget it. And, boy, if you knew Art, you let Art worship the way he wanted to worship. No one messed with Art because they were just happy that Art was there.
Praise God. Praise God. That's the way it ought to be.
So I always hear in the back of my mind sometimes, Jason, when you're preaching, I just want to get back there in the back and just go, "Hallelujah."
Yeah, you need to. Step it up a notch.
All right. Well, friends, this is what you've been waiting for.
This is it.
Here it is. Coming at you live here, 1229 Studio J. Because we don't really have A through, what's before J? I?
Yeah.
There's no Studio A through I.
No.
Because we don't believe in that AI.
Yes.
Studio J for Jason. It's time for news you can use with Jason Bay.
Absolutely. We're bringing you news you can use, news that you can use to discuss the latest events of the week and just highlight some of the things going on in our world. First of all, on the sporting news, as we've talked about on many occasions, after college I moved to the Dallas area, Dallas-Fort Worth, the Metroplex as they call it, to go to school. I spent several years up there, met my wife. She lived in Dallas, DeSoto to be specific, which is right south of Dallas, and became a fan of a lot of the Dallas sports, and you and I share our affinity for Dallas Cowboys football. And I don't know if you heard that the NFL schedules came out yesterday. The first game that Dallas will play, they'll play the first game of the year on Thursday to kick off the season, and they're going to play the Eagles.
Wow.
So that'll be a huge game, I'm sure.
There's, and I mean this no disrespect, so please don't take it disrespectful, but there is at AT&T Stadium, is that what they still call that, AT&T Stadium?
I think so.
There's a multitude. They have been camping out there for years now. Just people don't really notice it, but they've been waiting for smoke to come out to see if the new owner. they've been waiting on the new owner.
They're looking for the white smoke.
Yeah, looking for the new owner. They're going to keep waiting. So
Definitely. So, and then also, this was amazing because since I do follow a lot of the Dallas sports. I don't know. Did you hear about I'm sure you heard about all the controversy surrounding the Dallas Mavericks. I usually don't bring this up because it's not local news, and most people are Rockets fans, which I'm a Rockets fan too.
I'm a Spurs fan.
Yes, and you're a Spurs fan, so I definitely don't want to disappoint you. But as you know, Dallas traded away Luka Doncic. I think that's how you say that last name, but. They traded away, and it made all kind of controversy this year because Dallas had aspirations. Last year, they went to the finals. They had aspirations for doing the same this year. They traded for what's Steph Curry's partner shooting, Clay. Is it Clay Thompson? They traded for him, and they had Kyrie Irving, of course, and they have Luka there, and so Lively. They had their team seemed to be stacked. Well, right in the middle of the season, or towards the end of the season, they trade away Luka, and they got AD back from LA. They traded him to LA, and it made all kinds of controversy because after that, really, the AD got hurt and Kyrie got hurt, and the team just went into the basement. You know, they barely made the play-in tournament and all of that. Well, this week they had the lottery drawing for who was going to win the lottery. Did you see this?
Yes, and 1.8% chance.
1.8% chance for the Dallas Mavericks to draw the number one pick because they were 10th. They were 10th, and they got it. They got the number one pick, and you know who the last two were?
Who's that?
The last two teams that were being drawn out of the.
Was it some of the worst in the league?
Well, it was the worst in the league. These were the 10 worst teams. And by the way, of the 10 worst teams, the Dallas Mavericks were the 10th, so they were the best of the worst, if you will.
Yeah.
So they had the least likely chance of getting the number one pick. But when after they drew the ping pong balls out and Dallas stayed there because I mean the odds were stacked against them in every way. At the very end, it was between – I thought of you because it was between Dallas and the Spurs for the number one pick.
Yeah.
And they pulled out – the number two they pulled out was
San Antonio.
And that left the Mavericks to pick the number one pick. So San Antonio was right there at the very end.
We were almost on a back-to-back.
That would have been back-to-back number one.
Like they did with Tim Duncan and David Robinson back in the day when they hit it.
And then, of course, for your team, Pop – retired and is going to be in the front office.
By the way, the poor guy looked terrible.
He did. I saw that interview.
He had a stroke and his left side of his body was not really moving.
I saw that, and he could barely get around. And he's got such a great spirit about him, and people just love him. He's one of the. But yeah, so I thought that was really neat.
You keep talking about the Spurs. That's fine.
And so Dallas will end up getting Cooper Flagg, which is an amazing get because this guy is only 18 years old, coming out of the NBA, and the talent that he has. And plus, you think about this guy; he's like they say, like one of the most hardest working athletes there is. Like working on his game, and seems like just and by the way, he graduated Duke with a 4.0, or after he didn't graduate, his first year because he's a freshman still, and went to the NBA. This guy has a 4.0 GPA, smart, really talented, really hard worker. They traded Luka. They went into the tank. Everybody gave up on the Mavericks. They sold their season tickets, and there's a big uproar in Dallas about this. And now they're all lined up buying all these season tickets back because they know that Cooper Flagg's coming.
Well, Dylan Harper will be better. He's the number 2 pick, 20 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, shoots 50% from the field. He's a freshman, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Spurs are back to becoming a dynasty. Victor Wembanyama's back after his blood clot that he had in his shoulder. The Spurs are back, baby. Mark my words.
We'll see.
New coach, new era. Manu's still there. Tony's still there. Tim pops in once in a while. The big three still have the influence. David Robinson is still on the court from time to time. No other team in the NBA has that type of a family than the San Antonio Spurs.
Except for Dallas.
Yeah. No, they don't.
Dallas gave up, and I was one of them, thinking, oh, what are they doing? Probably and has been speculated as the worst trade in NBA history, trading Luka for AD. Luka was so much younger. But the reason they traded Luka was because they said it was his work ethic. He was out of shape all the time. He didn't play defense. He took off plays. He just kind of loafed up but in the end, now, no one could have predicted this, and like you said, unless the whole thing is rigged. But no one could have predicted this. They ended up really coming away smelling like roses because they got rid of Luka. I mean, he's a great player, but just known for his kind of lack of work ethic.
Who's that kid they got? What's his name?
Cooper Flagg.
Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about one last thing. I know you got a lot more, but I want to just read this to you real quick. All right, Dallas, what are we doing? Okay, you stumble into the playoffs.
Yeah,
right. You trip over the Timberwolves, and now suddenly Mavs fans are acting like this is 2011 all over again. Jason, spoiler alert, it's not. Okay, yeah, Luka can drop 30 in his sleep, but he's gone.
He is gone.
But have you seen him play defense? The guy was horrible. That's why they got rid of him.
It is.
Kyrie, he's a clutch until he's not. Dude has nothing. Here it is.
He's
Look,
hurt too.
And now the
ACL.
Mavs nation thinks the NBA is going to rig the number 1 pick, which they did.
They did.
Please, the league already gave you a gift when you got Luka for Trae Young, but you blew that.
Yep.
And let's be real, you're not going to do much. You got the number 1 pick, but you're not going to win the West. Okay.
We'll see.
Mark Cuban is not still not high enough off the Illuminati food chain to pull that off. Okay,
Mark Cuban quit.
So there you go. Yeah, that's why you don't use AI to roast, because I was trying to reread it because it was
all wrong. I noticed that, Rob. You're editing on the fly.
There you go.
I've done that. I've done that too. AI, for whatever reason, gets a lot of current events wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe because half the news is fake news.
But
right?
here's what I'll say. The Mavericks, always the bridesmaid. Sorry. They're never the – there you go.
We'll see.
At least we can agree on the Cowboys.
Yeah, no question. All right, still on the sports. We talked about this a week or so ago. Bill Belichick and all the hoopla surrounding him and his relationship to his girlfriend, who is what? Like 19 years old or something like that, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he's Bill Belichick is 73 years old.
They showed him at the beach, and I was like, I never want to see that again.
Yeah. No, she's 24.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's been stirred up a whole lot of controversy. We showed that interview a couple of weeks ago about his girlfriend kind of interjecting herself into the interview. She's over here, and the interview's going on. I'm sure everybody has seen it by now. But that caused a firestorm of media around him about what her role is in the football team. And then there was a report that came out that she was banned from the facility at North Carolina. And then the very next day, North Carolina makes a statement, says no, she's not banned. And there's just back and forth going on, a lot of controversy, a lot of bad media attention and all of this. And so anyway, there is a report out that says that Bill Belichick might not ever coach a game at North Carolina. Wow. Now this is still up in the air, and there's speculation on both sides. But on June 1st, Belichick's buyout drops from $10 million to $1 million, making his potential exit more acceptable at that time. So watch for the news surrounding Bill Belichick in North Carolina starting in June 1st, because if any change is going to be made, it's going to be made after June the 1st.
He hasn't even coached a game.
Nope, hasn't even coached a game yet. And they're saying that all this may go away if he wins, but if he doesn't win, if he is allowed to coach and he doesn't win, man, that things are going to heat up pretty quick at North Carolina because of this relationship, and it's messy, and it's getting him all the wrong attention. Even his family has spoken out about it, saying that they're worried that it's going to take away from his legacy that he has worked so hard for. To build up his reputation as a Super Bowl winning coach, and all the things happened before now has just really left a smear on him and his reputation.
I think it's a good testament that you get to a point, Jason, to where, all right, you've done it, it's time to hang it up, and it also brings up a good point that there's no reason to be so involved in so many things. I've experienced that, and then you get involved in so many things. And then things happen that are beyond your control, and you're not able to commit fully like you wanted to. And this has happened with me and organizations and different things. And then people kind of get upset in a way, but you have no control over some things.
And college, I think sometimes people underestimate the difference between professional football and college football, even though college football is becoming more and more like professional football, there is a huge difference. And one of the huge differences is the alumni that's at these places. And you have to realize that the head coach not only has to be a good X's and O's type guy. At the end of the day, the head coach has to be the spokesman for the university in many cases. You know, that's the person people associate with the university in many cases. And you have to do media events. And as you know, and anybody that's followed sports knows, Bill Belichick is known for his disdain of the media. And the fact that he doesn't like to do press conferences, he doesn't like media events, and being a head college football coach requires you to do that because you have to put the face of the university to get donations. You have to be out there to draw in recruits. You know, like I said, you're the face, and I don't think that he really enjoys that. But a lot of that controversy goes back to this girlfriend because, you know, she's a graduate of North Carolina, and many people believe that she persuaded him to take the job in the first place.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, moving on. There's an ad out, as you know, that NBC is reporting this. With the tariffs that are going into effect, Walmart has released a report saying that their tariff price hikes are likely to be just weeks away. The retail giant said Trump's import taxes remain high and they're too high to avoid passing along to shoppers. So you could start having to pay more for some items as soon as late May. Now, I'll bring this to your attention because many of the items that you may have wanted to purchase, especially items like electronics, they say that now is the time to purchase those electronics if these tariffs are to go into effect, because that's going to affect a lot of the things that are produced in China, which are a lot of the fundamental aspects of electronic devices. Yeah. If you're going to purchase those, now's the time to purchase those.
Well, Trump had that. They have that 90-day reprieve going on.
Yeah,
right
they
now.
do.
So
they do.
That may kind of put a little bit of an extension on that.
It may be an extension on that. But the reason I wanted to bring this to your attention is I sent you a link here. We'll post this link
here
in
the TV
the comments.
One?
No, the computer one first. Which was the first one I sent to you.
Oh, I thought you were sending me a TV. I was like, yes.
Yes. Well, you can. This is what I'm getting to. That the Street magazine they put out an ad saying that Amazon is selling a powerful $800 laptop for only $220. It runs fast and handles multitasking with ease. Wow. So take a look at that, Rob. I want you to look at this. Is this computer any good or not? Because I need to a lot of people are purchasing laptop computers for their students, for their kids, because it's no good?
No, Celeron processor's garbage.
Okay, well, take that off the list.
Wait, hold on, though. Hold on. What is this one, though? See, I'm confused because it says Celeron. Yeah. Now, this one, it says right here, 32 gig RAM. That's not bad.
It's Celeron too, though.
See what's weird? Yeah, the Celeron is bottom of the barrel processors.
That's why I need you to help me out on this because I'm a lot of now. If almost every student now is required to have some sort of laptop. Now but
for basic stuff, this would be fine.
The school does provide those what do you call them, Chromebooks for the kids to use. You have to check them out and take them home, but there's a lot of things that go along with that. You know, the school owns it, first of all, and so, if you break it or if you damage it in any way, then you have to pay for it. And then also there's some limitations to what you can put on there and stuff. So I'm thinking about my son who's going into high school. He needs a laptop, or what kind of laptop to get him. So this was one that I saw, but it was reduced from $800 to $220, but as Rob gives us the professional opinion, which I know nothing about, it's not the one to buy.
Yeah, go with the Core i7 processor. Core i5 or i7 is the way to go. Solid state hard drive.
Yeah.
This is Kim Commando right now. Remember her? She was the computer lady on the radio.
No, this is news you can use. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people in my shoes. If you're buying a computer for your a laptop from your grandchild or your son or daughter, these are the times to buy it because those computers are going to go up if the tariffs do happen, these things like this are going to go up in price. So now is the time to look at these and find a good one to get, because I don't think the low prices are going to exist for too long. Another deal at Walmart, by the way, they have a 50-inch 4K smart TV. It was $329. It's on sale. 50-inch TV on sale for $178.
Well, you know, we need some up here. We may have to go today and get some.
Well, that and this is
wow.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
No, it's good. I mean, $178. So if you need a TV, I'm not sure that these are available for the same price at the store, but you can get them online, and we'll post a link up here. Right now, Walmart is selling this $329 50-inch TV for only $178.
Hey man, I've been talking about putting one there where we have our wall. Instead, you know, I took down the Kingdom Culture banner. We need to put a TV there. That would be perfect.
All right, let's do it.
So
let's do it.
We may need to get Linda, if you're watching, you know, give us the okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is available for pickup in Huntsville today.
Oh, it is. Okay, well, don't beat us there, but hey, if you need a TV, I convinced my wife of this. You know, hey, they say, and I don't know, you know, we can't read the future, but they say if you're going to buy electronics, you know, the tariffs, there's a reprieve, and there's all this back and forth. But if you're going to buy electronics, now's the time to do it. And here's a TV. If you need a new TV at your home or place of work, $178. You remember when those TVs first came out?
Oh,
LED TVs, and they had the plasma TVs. We bought one for $2,500, and it was smaller than a 50-inch.
I bought an HD Sony projection TV back in the day. This was new when it had the new DLP mirrors in it.
Yeah. I remember that.
Got this thing at Best Buy, and it was like $2,300, and it was one of the first credit cards. Don't ever go down the credit card train, but it was one of the first I ever got. And I remember my payments were $89 a month, and it was like something like 3 years. And that TV was huge. It was but it was a widescreen HD projection TV. But that TV was money. Man, when people came over, they're like, whoa, man. Yeah. And that was huge.
And now it's nothing to have an 80-inch TV just sitting around. I mean, this is 50-inch, which is plenty big. But so there you go. That's some news you can use. I have a lot more, but I know we're running out of time today. We've had a good discussion on lots of different topics, but there you go. There's news you can use.
Yeah. Wow. I just did something here, Jason. What did I click off of? Some days I forget what I'm clicking. Anyways.
There you go. See, if that's not news you can use, I don't know what is.
It got me so excited that maybe I was sharing, like, I don't know what I was sharing. But anyways, there you go.
We just knocked it out of the park.
Don't get that TV. Let us go get it first and then see if there's any left. I really want to go get that for that haul
there
now.
There you go. Let's do it.
I'm going to buy 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, I'm going to buy me some from the house. Hey, instead of buying that LED wall for the sanctuary,
buy 5 of these TVs.
Put them right back there in the back, man. Well, hey, there is a lot going on, and we do want to say thank you to all of you. A lot of events happening over this past weekend in the community. It was so great to see so many people out in the community. The Main Street Music Series was awesome. We walked by. We were downtown this weekend, but afterwards they were having the music series, and it was so neat to see so many people gathered together. Jason, I did want to just briefly hit this topic. I know we got to go, but you and I always talk a lot about community. And a lot of folks will say, well, you know, I believe in the Lord. I don't need to go to church. And you're right. You don't need to. You don't have to say I'm a member of a church to have a relationship with the Lord. But community is such a vital role of that, and it's going to help with your faith. It's going to help you through times to where maybe you don't have anybody else to turn to. The Lord has put people together. That's why the Bible says where 2 or more are gathered, here I am also. Church is about community, and I wanted you just to briefly, if you don't mind, just highlight that, because we've been talking a lot about community lately.
Absolutely. In fact, I had a ministry opportunity yesterday. I love it when God places people in your path that need a word, and this is a young girl that had a couple of children, and she found herself in the midst of some hard times. She lost her job, and other things have gone on in her life. She lost her father, and just a series of events have taken her really to hit rock bottom. And she didn't know where to turn, so praise the Lord, she turned to the church. She called up here, talked to some friends of ours. We met together yesterday, And I got the opportunity to share with her the gospel message, first of all, straight from the Bible. We read it together, and she knows the Lord. And we got the opportunity to talk about how life is so hard. Life is so difficult. We hear all the time of tragedies that take place in people's lives. We hear of hardships that people are going through. We hear of valleys that people are having to walk through, loss of loved ones, loss of children, it's so difficult, and it's impossible to do life by yourself. And this is what I told her. Life is too hard to do it by yourself. You need a community of people to come alongside you and walk with you through these places. And it's the picture of the church. God gave us the church as that gift. Now, I told her, I said, I know you'll find our church is not a place of judgment. I know you'll find our church to be a place of love and help and support. And that's what we want to offer you. And I know with people listening out there today, there's people that I promise you, have had bad experiences in church. We probably all have had bad experiences in church. And sometimes the enemy, all he wants you to do is focus on that one negative event that you had at church, one negative thing some person at church said to you. But I want to encourage you, look past that, because the vast majority of people within the church are not judgmental people. They're not people that want to cast the first stone. They're people that want to come beside you and love you and help you and support you, and that's what community is all about. And I want to say one more thing about this. Not only is that what the church is about, traditionally, that's what Huntsville's been about doing life together, coming alongside of one another, helping, giving for the greater good.
Yeah.
Sometimes life is about making sacrifices for the greater good of community. That's what community is about. It's about putting self in second or third or fourth place and putting the needs of others above you. And that's how we do life. And that's the blessings of life, is being able to see past yourself. I want to say, as we think about our community in this beautiful place we call Huntsville, that has this small town feel, but also has access to big town things. You know, we're really close to Houston, Woodlands, shopping centers,
Richards,
the big city of Richards. All these things are right at our fingertips, yet we still have that small town community feel. I want to say before we call do we have a personal call today?
No one today, yeah.
So before we dismiss, I want to say, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Alpha Omega Academy this past week. They won the state championship in baseball, and that's a big accomplishment for a 3A private school. Huge accomplishment for them to win the state baseball championship. So congratulations to all those students. And I want to say congratulations to our friend, Don Jackson.
Absolutely.
Don Jackson is, and it's in the paper today. I noticed or not today, in this week's paper, there's an ad about him. But, you know, he's been the headmaster at Alpha Omega, has done a tremendous job there, loves the school at Alpha Omega, loves the students there. Over the past year, Don and I, he's on staff as one of our ministers here. He has a passion for ministry. He has retired from public school, lifetime in public school, and went back into teaching at Alpha just to give him something to do, just to have a ministry opportunity. He went there. God blessed him there. The school has done tremendous with him as headmaster there. But we had the opportunity to pray together about something that God was leading him to do. And it was his passion and his desire, as the scripture says, as you do unto the least of these, you do unto me. And what he realized as we prayed together and we talked through this was that God was calling him to go back into the public school because he felt like there was kids there that really needed help. They needed encouragement. They needed strength. They needed a mentor. They needed a Christian influence. And I'm here to tell you, you know him. Mm-hmm. Don is one of the most genuine people you'll ever.
Salt of the earth.
Greatest leaders, and he has given up a great position at Alpha Omega to come be the principal at Mance Park Junior High for the sole purpose of helping kids. Now, that guy has a heart, and he has a heart for the Lord and a heart for kids, and he realizes that the legacy that he leaves behind is not how much money he stores in the bank or how easy his job is. The legacy he leaves behind is the impact that he makes in other people's lives. And he has taken that job at Mance Park to do that alone, to help kids grow physically, grow mentally and educationally, and to just give them a sense of hope. And so if your child goes to Mance Park or you're a teacher at Mance Park, you're in for a blessing as he goes there and serves there and is that light in that school. And I know he's going to do great things. So I just want to say congratulations, Don Jackson, on I know what was a difficult decision because of his love for the students at Alpha Omega, but also a following of God's call upon his life.
Yeah, amen, brother. You couldn't have worded that any better. One of the, like I said, the salt of the earth, one of the best men that you can meet and get to know. And I say there's a lot of nice guys and nice people in Huntsville. And I always talk about Sam at Lee Baron. He's one of the nicest guys. But Sam and Don right there equal in my eyes with just how genuine they are. And we're so thankful. And for Don and his family, we just love that family so much and so excited about. And it's a testament of, once again, I say that word because it is. Whenever you remain in faith, God is going to take you places you never imagined.
Yep.
That you never thought, man, how did I get here and why did I get here? And then God's going to reveal that purpose just like he did with Don to say, I took you out for a reason for a while. You went here and now you're back serving and you're going to make such a lasting impact. That dash one day and 100 years from now, I'm going to say 100 years for Don, and 100 years from now, Don's going to be 100 and 160, 170 one day. but his dash is going to mean so much. It's not going to be the birth date, it's going to be that dash and the impact and the legacy that he has made on so many lives, especially young people.
Yeah, absolutely. We over at the church, his wife had a surprise birthday party for him a few months ago, and she invited all the people. You should have seen all the people there. That the impact that he has made throughout his life in education and in ministry, because he's been a pastor too, and we're so fortunate to have him here. But I will say, you are so fortunate to have him at Mance Park. Give that man a word of encouragement and strength. I know he's going to make a huge impact there in the lives of so many kids, and I'm excited for this journey for him. My dad always used to say, the easy way is not always the right way. And there's so much truth in that statement. The easy thing for him to do would just be to stay at Alpha Omega and continue to grow that school and be a blessing to them. And the harder thing to do would be to go to a school in the public school where there's probably more discipline problems, more issues that you're going to face, but he knows where he's needed, and right now he feels needed there, and I know God's going to bless him for it.
And I love what you said just now, Jason, as we close. You said, give him encouragement. And I was just talking to Linda about this yesterday. We had a nice meeting. The encouragers always need encouragement. Those that encourage others, pastors such as Jason, always encourage others. People like Don always encourage others. Those people need encouragement as well. And so love on people, give them a hug, pray with them, and encourage them to continue fighting the good fight.
Amen. Praise the Lord.
Well, hey, that'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up tomorrow for the week with our friend Billy Cawthon, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. So make sure that you join us. Hey, and I'm looking for a couple of friends. If anybody out there today is watching and you're free tomorrow morning, we have a lady here, and you don't have to be a member of this church, but we just love on our members here and love on people. And a lady had reached out to us with a need. And so we have answered that call tomorrow, and I need some help. And so if anybody out there, I need help to help her. But if anybody out there is available, a lot of people are working, and so I understand that. But if you're free tomorrow and like to come hang out just for a little bit, we're going to probably leave here from First Baptist around 10:30, and we're going to head to Crockett, Texas for a few hours. And if you come, I'll feed you. But we just need some help moving some boxes for a lady here. Her grandmother is going through a really difficult situation, and she had reached out to us and said, I don't know where to turn. We need some help. And so the help that we can offer is just helping to simply move items from one room to another. And so if you're available tomorrow, please comment or just send me a text message on my personal cell. I don't mind giving it out. It's 512 232-966-4710. Again, that's my cell number. Just send a text message and say, man, I'd love to come help, and let me know when you can help, and we'll try to work around your schedule. But 512-966-4710 if you can help tomorrow, just for a couple of hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours. I don't think it's going to be anything intensive. There's a couple of pieces of larger furniture, that's my understanding, but we're simply moving them from one room to another so that this lady's, that her grandmother can get that house going the way that she needs to. So,
Rob, I appreciate you giving out your cell number to everybody. I was just wondering maybe we could get your Social Security number too.
Sure, yeah. 1-2-3-4-5-6-7-8-9. You can do that. But no, if you're able, please, we could definitely, she could definitely use the help, and you don't even have to pay no gas or nothing. You just ride with me, I'll feed you. And even if I just had 1 or 2 people, it would be a tremendous blessing. So if you can do that, let me know. I'd love to have you come help tomorrow. So, well, that'll wrap it up. Tomorrow we'll be here with Billy, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, as I end every show, reminding you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. We talked about community. It's so important. Somebody out there today really does need you. Big thank you to our friends at CASA of Walker, San Jacinto, and Trinity counties. So nice to have Darcus, Brenda, and Katherine with us today, and I appreciate Kim Weezer and also Laura Green over there. They're doing a fantastic job for children that are in need in our community. Until then, good morning, Huntsville, and God bless. We'll see you tomorrow morning, back at it bright and early. And as always, a big thank you to Jason Bay here and First Baptist Church, our Thursday foundation support. Thank you, Pastor.
All right. God bless you.
Hello, First Baptist Huntsville. This is Jeremy Stallnecker with the Mighty Oaks Foundation, and I'm sitting in my home studio today recording some different things for our organization. But I wanted to stop quickly and say hello and tell you how excited I am to be with you on May 25th. That is Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, and we're going to have a wonderful time together. I feel very honored to be able to spend this time with you. As you know, this is an important weekend, a very important holiday, as we remember the sacrifices of the men and women who've gone before us, those who gave their lives, paid the ultimate sacrifice that we could enjoy the freedoms that we do. Very, very important time, and I am excited to be able to spend that time with you. We're going to talk about Memorial Day, what it means, why it's important, and how we can live our lives in light of the sacrifices made by others. Again, very excited to be with you this Memorial Day weekend, Sunday, May 25th.